Welcome back to Tabletop Titans. My name is Adrian, and today we're going to be reviewing a brand new codex. This is, of course, the Adepta Sororitas. A big thank you to Games Workshop for sending us this codex a little bit early. You'll notice I'm not Brian, who's been playing the sisters lately on the channel. Unfortunately, we just received this, and so he's not able to be here. But I am stuck with me. I'm excited though because I do play sisters. I do like them a lot, and of course my collection. So I'm excited to dive into the rules. I have a fair sense of what's in here, but you're also going to be getting just a bit of a first look from me, frankly. So with that, let's get on into it. If you're not familiar with the way we do reviews, we like to go through most of the book. We're going to go through all the detachment abilities, enhancements, stratagems. We'll talk about key data sheets, especially ones that we think have changed. I very well might miss some, so of course let us know in the comments down below if there's something that we did not catch. We're not really going to be talking about Crusade or Combat Patrol, but yeah, should be still cool. With that, let's get on into it. I think similar to the Genestealer Cults book, I want to talk a bit about some data sheet changes before we go into the detachments. So with that, let's take a look at the data sheets. First off, our beautiful, fantastic, incredible Morvenval has seen a nice little upgrade here. So she has, of course, still Abyss Sanctorum when she's leading a unit. She's going to get full hit and full wound rerolls. But then also her Righteous Repugnance has seen a nice upgrade. This used to be the once per game ability that, I don't know about you, we would forget all the time. Instead, now it's whenever this model's unit is selected to shoot or fight, you can discard a Miracle Dice, and then you can add 3 to the attack characteristic of Fidelis and Lance of Illumination, and then each time an enemy is destroyed by this model, you gain a Miracle Dice. Amazing upgrade. I think you're going to use this a lot to burn those Miracle Dice that you don't want, and of course, making her a source of Miracle Dice is fantastic. So, big upgrade there. Other units that I want to highlight, Junith Erudita, still amazing. You do have to pay a bit of a price now to get CP from her. Rather than just getting one at the start of the command phase, you need to discard a Miracle Dice to get a CP. And then, choose one of the following. That's right. Discard a Miracle Dice to get a CP guarantee, or take a leadership check to getting a CP. So, a little worse than before, but you know, I think it's interesting, especially considering the amazing strats that we have in some of these detachments. Other units I want to mention, we of course have the brand new Canoness with Jump Pack. So she is similar. She still has a Sacred Command, so once per battle round, you can do a free strat on her and her unit. Has to be a battle tactic as per the designer's commentary. And then she has a once per game Divine Deliverance, which is kind of like a best day ever. Once per battle, start of the fight phase, you can use this ability to give +3 attacks in melee and gain devastating wounds, which is not only hilarious, but actually genuinely interesting, because with Miracle Dice, you can proc those automatic 6s, which is pretty sweet. And if you're running some of the detachments, you could even use a couple 6s here. Loadout wise, so she can of course join Seraphim and Zephyrim. She's going to have that flamer unless you certain loadouts have different things. Yeah, hand flamer with power weapon, blessed halberd by default, and then you can take the holy eviscerator. I think personally I like the halberd. It's got the most attacks, decent strength, same AP. AP and damage is the same across the board. So you're looking at number of attacks, you're looking at your strength, and then you're looking at special abilities. So I don't love the power weapon personally. I think I really like the Blessed Halberd or maybe the Eviscerator. You're losing 2 attacks, so sustained is not necessarily worth it. But again, depends on the situation. Also depends on Rule of Cool. I think Eviscerators are awesome. So yeah, I think it's interesting. I think, again, because of some of the detachments, especially getting that character onto Zephyrim in particular, could be interesting. We'll have to find out. We will, of course, be trying that today on the release of this video. So exciting stuff there. Little caveat, as I like to give when we're reviewing these codexes, I am looking at this primarily from a competitive standpoint. Is something strong? Is it viable? Are you going to take it? And does it synergize with other things? I will also consider, is it cool? Is it flavorful? Those will kind of be secondary, and I'll try to flag when I'm leaning one way or the other. But generally speaking, we're talking, is this something that you would take in a competitive list? So I just want to clear that up. There's a million ways to evaluate these, of course. Yeah, Palatine's cool. Aestrid and Thurga, maybe interesting now. I don't know, we'll see. I would love for that beautiful model to be taken. Midgefire, very interesting now. They are, at least currently, very cheap. We'll see if that changes. But now when they're leading a unit, they automatically give a 2+ save and a 4+ invulnerable save. It used to be, I think it was just the invuln, and then you got the save only if you were Sacrosancts. But now it's just to everyone. So that's pretty spicy, honestly. So I like that. Dialogus, the same. The priest and preacher, I think it was, have been kind of consolidated into one profile. And I mean, it's good, honestly. I think you're still gonna take it a lot. +1 to wound when leading a unit, and of course can go Super Saiyan. Particularly, it's going to be interesting in, of course, the Penitent Host attachment, because you can unlock a number of different abilities. +1 to wound on the newly improved Repentia is always good. So yeah, Munistorm Priests. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Battle Sisters, I believe, are the same. Sisters Novitiates the same. Dominions, yeah. Seraphim, yep. Zephyrim. I believe this is new. So the Embodied Prophecy, they've always, not always, but recently unlocked a bit of punch. So now when you go to fight, you can select Sustained 1 or Lethal Hits, or when you charge, you can discard a Miracle Dice to get both benefits, which is very, very nice. So I think that's really the upgrade that this unit needed to see. So I love that. And you have the rerolls still from the Sacred Banner. Retributors, slightly different now. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. So let me know in the comments below. You still have the Cherubs, that's fine. But then Storm Retribution, they reroll wound rolls of 1, and if they target an enemy unit that has destroyed one of your units, then you get full rerolls to wound. I can't decide if I love or hate it, to be honest. Full rerolls is amazing. You'll probably lose something at some point, but it's also a little bit niche, a little specific, and something has to die, which I was hoping we'd get away from with the Sisters. So, I don't know. I don't know if they're making the cut still. Yeah, that's that. Repentia, as I mentioned, very exciting. They've got sustained hits. So while we don't have the Bloody Rose detachment, I'm just going to say that now, get that out of your mind. We still have ways of really amping these Repentia up. So they have hit and wound rerolls. They do not need to have charged anymore, and they're going to have sustained hits. So pretty awesome. I think Mortifiers and Penitents are still great. Flagellants did take a bit of a hit. They don't have a 4+ Feel No Pain, but they do have a 6-up Invuln. So still annoying to kill, still 2 wounds, still 1 million attacks with the Extremist trigger word. So you're definitely taking these still. I really like them in a couple detachments. And the Paragon Warsuits got a nice upgrade. They went from toughness 5 to toughness 7, which frankly they always deserve. T5 was just like a joke for these giant metal armored things. Like, they should be tougher than a Terminator, and frankly tougher than a Gravis suit. So I like that. And they're getting +1 to hit, +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles. Combine that with Morphin Vol, they are better than ever, in my opinion. Rhino's the same. The Immolator, I'm a little disappointed about, to be honest. It used to have the fire support rule. This is like the Falcon, like the Goliath. It's like the AdMech. It used to be you shoot at a unit, and if a unit got out of the transport that turn, they get 4 rerolls to wound against that same target. Now, instead, it's Purge and Cleanse. In your shooting phase, after this model has shot, you select an enemy unit hit by 1 or more of those attacks. Until the end of the phase, that enemy unit cannot have the benefit of cover. Turn off cover is good, but it's not full rerolls good. So I would love if this unit got cheaper in points, frankly. If we saw a points update once the book officially launches and we make them cheaper so that we can actually start taking more of them more ubiquitously, I'm very interested because it's such a classic, cool unit, and I would love an excuse to paint ours up for the studio. So that's Immolators. The Exorcist is cute, has Devastating Refrain, which means if you kill something that has Deadly Demise, it does explode on a 5+ instead of a 6. Cool. And of course, last of all, the Castigator has been an absolute stalwart of the index part of this game. Unfortunately, the rights of castigation is changed. They used to get a number of different abilities. There was rerolls to hit against some targets and reroll to wound against other targets. Like, it depended on who you're shooting at with what gun. Now, however, it's the unit that you shot at, you get +1 AP with the rest of your units. And it can only affect a unit once per turn. like, it's an okay ability. It's just, I feel like before it were, the Castigator would have just killed the thing. And now it's like, oh, I'll soften him up. I'm like, no, this is the battle line thing. I want this to kill something. So I'm a little concerned about that. Oh, and they also had battle shock on things that they shoot, which was fantastic. So I'm a little nervous for Castigators. Yes, they were kind of too ubiquitous before for a while, but I don't know. It's a cool model. I'd like to be able to keep taking them. And they have a nice war gear guide. So that's the data sheets. We're going to take a look at the detachments now. I just think it's really important to know what we're dealing with as a baseline before we go into these detachments. So for detachments, as I mentioned, I'll kind of give an overview. We'll go through literally everything, the detachment rule, the enhancement, the stratagems, and we'll talk about what we think is relevant and maybe how they stack up against each other. First of all, army rule is the same, if I do recall. If your army faction is Adepta Sororitas, you gain 1 miracle dice at the start of each turn, and each time an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army is destroyed. Roll a dice, it's miracle dice, yada yada yada. You can use it for advanced, battle shock, charge, damage, hit, saving, wound roll. Makes sense. Yep, that's the Acts of Faith, same as before. Now let's get into it. This is Hallowed Martyrs, which is the index detachment, and let's take a look at what, if anything, has changed. First off, we've got the Blood of Martyrs. So grimdark. Each time an Adepta Sororitas model from your army makes an attack, you get +1 to hit if their unit is below starting strength, and +1 to wound if they're below half strength. Same as before, kind of awkward, can be powerful, but it's very situational. Same as before. Enhancements, 1, 2, 3, 4 enhancements. Saintly example on an Adepta Sororitas model. While the bearer is destroyed, you gain an additional D3 miracle dice. Same as before, fantastic ability. Through suffering, strength. This is on an Adepta Sororitas model only. You get +1 attack, strength, and damage. Okay. And if they've lost 1 or more wounds, add +2 to the strengths, attacks, strength, and damage of the bearer's melee weapons instead. Fantastic. This was like Eleanor's Blade before? They had an L version of this. That's phenomenal. Yeah, I love it. You'll of course have to be able to put a wound on your character, but yeah, we got tricks for that. Next up, the Chaplet of Sacrifice, Adepta Sororitas model only. At the end of your command phase, if the bear's on the battlefield, you gain a miracle dice. You can reroll a miracle dice from your pool, and oh, okay, I think this is new. If the bearer's unit is below starting strength, you can reroll up to 3 in this way. That's awesome. Definitely going to try to fit in that to your list. Big potential to convert all those miracle dice you're generating from dying. Last of all, the Mantle of Ophelia. This is on a Canonist or Palatine only. Reduces the damage to 1, same as before. Okay, I mean, look, the enhancements weren't really lacking before. I think these are all good enhancements, honestly. I think they're all great. I'd probably cut the Mantle of Ophelia if I had to pick one. So you take these 3 if you can, which feels like the same as before. You can do cool stuff with this, but this is like the default state. So I like it. Next up, the strats. Divine Intervention, 1 CP, Epic Deed. You do this in any phase when an Adepta Sororitas character unit from your army was destroyed, and you can use it even though you normally couldn't. You discard 1 to 3 miracle dice, and at the end of the phase, you set them up on the battlefield as close as possible to where they died, and what's this? Roll a dice on a D3 +1 for each miracle dice. They step back. Oh, it's not guaranteed? Oh, okay. It's D3 plus that many wounds. Okay, good. And you cannot select Saint Celestine as the target of the stratagem. You cannot select the same character more than once per battle. Okay. That's cool. So actually, I think it's a little bit of an upgrade there. That's nice. Suffering and Sacrifice, 1 CP, classic strategic ploy. At the start of the fight phase, you pick an Adepta Sororitas infantry or walker. Until the end of the phase, each time an enemy model whose unit is within engagement range selects its target, it must select your unit as the target of its attack. This is still a fantastic ability. You can do messed up stuff. You just throw in like an Amigifier or a priest, and they're forced to go into that. And you basically have them chump block, and then your actual unit goes in and kind of beats them up and can't get hit back because it's each time an enemy model whose unit is within engagement range of your unit. So you can force them into that, which is pretty sweet. Yeah. It doesn't have to have, let's see, Adepta Sororitas, that should be everything, right? I'm not, let's take a look at the priest real quick. Yeah, because it's faction keyword. Yeah, okay, we're good. Anyways, great strat still. Righteous Vengeance, 1 CP battle tactic. For you Candaces out there. In the fight phase, you pick an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. Till the end of the phase, each time this model makes an attack, you can reroll the hit, and if you're below half strength, reroll the wound roll as well. 1 CP for full hit rerolls is great, and conditional wound rerolls is cute. You, of course, will be below half, so you're like getting diminishing returns from your rerolls. You might as well, you'd rather have the whole squad. So there's still that awkwardness here. I guess you'll get +1 to wound as well, but same as before. Sanctified Immolation, 1 CP in any phase. You pick a Sororitas vehicle that with that deadly demise. You don't have to roll. You can just explode automatically. Still funny, still hilarious. Again, make immolators a thing. Let's go. Next up, Spirit of the Martyr, 2 CP strategic deploy in the fight phase after an enemy unit has selected its target. You can pick a Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that was selected as 1 or more of the targets. And to the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed, they fight on death. Amazing, awesome. 2 CP is expensive, but this is a game-changing ability, so checks out. Last of all, Praise the Fallen, 1 CP strategic ploy. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has shot. You pick a Adepta Sororitas unit from your army that had at least 1 model destroyed, and you can immediately shoot back. Classic strat, still 1 CP, still amazing. Okay, I mean, look, it's still a solid detachment. I know Blood of Martyrs is an awkward ability. AdMech players hate it. But I think it still has its own, and there's going to be cases where you still want to just take this, frankly, which is good. I want all the original index detachments to still be viable. So once we're done playing with all their new detachments, it's like, well, maybe Hallowed Martyrs or War Horde or whatever it might be is actually the way to go, and you can return to it. That's fun. So that's Hallowed Martyrs. Next up, let's take a look at, oh, this is one of my favorites. This is my favorite. This might be my actual favorite. The Penitent Host. Of course, this is all about the Penitent units, the Arcoflagellants, the Repentia, the Penitent Engines, the Mortifiers, and of course the Priests. Very, very cool. So let's dive on in and see what it is. The question is, of course, is this going to be overly niche and only apply to those units, or do we have more broadly applicable applications here? So let's take a look. Detachment rule, Desperate for Redemption. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the following vows of atonement to be active for your army until the start of the next battle round, and you can only do each once per battle. So these are basically your tactics, start of round to the next round. And here's the 3. Path of the Penitent gives +3 move to your Penitent models. Awesome. So it's getting you stuck in. Absolution in battle. Each time a unit from your army is selected to fight, if they made a charge, until the end of the phase, you get +1 attack and strength. Yes, for the Penitent models in there. They worded that really weird, right? I'm not crazy. So it's +1 attack, +1 strength, only for Penitents. So at first it looks like it's generalizable, but it's not. So get stuck in, do damage, and now they're going to try to kill us. We better fight them back. Death before disgrace. Each time a Penitent model from your army is destroyed, on a 2+, they still fight. It's awesome. And let me tell you, we have our pre-recorded battle report coming out on the same day as this, and it gets wild once this ability comes out. Let me just prepare you for that. No spoilers. So these are cool. These are all powerful, and there's kind of a natural flow to them. So I'm a fan. It's once per game. I think that's totally fine. They've proven that they can design in that space. So, yeah. All right, let's take a look. Psalm of Righteous Judgment. This is one of 1, 2, 3, 4 enhancements. It's on Adepta Sororitas model only. While they're on the battlefield, each time an enemy unit is destroyed by a Penitent unit from your army, you can discard a miracle dice and then gain a miracle dice of a 6. So basically, take one of yours, convert it into a 6. Amazing ability. I think you're going to take that every time with this detachment. In the game later today, we put it actually on an Midgifier. Sits at the back, protects, and just stays alive because they don't have to be nearby. They just have to be on the battlefield and alive. So it's great. Definitely taking that. Verse of Holy Piety. This is on a Penitent only, so this is going to be priests in this case. Once per battle, at the start of the battle round, select one vow of atonement until the start of the next battle round. That one is active for the bearer's unit in addition to any, even if you've already selected that vow of atonement in this battle. So you get an extra vow of atonement once per game on that bearer's unit. Honestly, it looks interesting, but it doesn't hold up against the others. and again, in the battle report, we kind of come to that conclusion. So let's take a look. Refrain of Enduring Faith, Penitent only. While the bear is leading a unit, models in that unit have a 5+ invulnerable save. Oh, amazing. I really like this on a priest, joining Flagellants. So they got a 5-up invuln, 5-up Feel No Pain. Super annoying to kill. I love it. And then lastly, Catechism of Divine Penitence. Canonist, Palatine, or Ministorum Priest only. Oh, interesting. A couple non-penitence characters. The bear gains the Penitent keyword, and during the declared battle formation step can be attached to a Repentia squad. This is awesome. So what you can do is you can take your Palatine, you give them this ability, you attach them to Repentia. Now they're going to be getting, they get lethal from the Palatine, sustain from themselves, and there might be some ways to upgrade this even farther. It's a nice little combo piece, and in this case, you can see your Penitent keyword is the way you can kind of unlock extra abilities on these other units, which is cute. In this case, you're taking the traditional buff from the Canonist and Palatine and attaching them to a Repentia unit. So I like this little flexibility. Not maybe as much as some of the GSC detachments, but still, it's still good. There's a good spread of units that you can use. With the stratagems now, let's take a look. 1 CP, Final Redemption. It's an epic deed at any phase. You pick a Penitent unit from your army that was just destroyed while it was within range of an objective marker you controlled. Basically, it makes the objective sticky. You'll still hold it even though they die. It's nice because think about it this way. If you are popping Death Before Disgrace, nobody wants to charge you because you're just going to fight on death. So what do they want to do? They want to shoot you off an objective, and this says, go ahead, shoot me off. I'm still going to hold it. So it's a nice counterplay to ways that people are going to try to deal with this detachment. Next up, we have Purity of Suffering, 1 CP battle tactic. In your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, after an enemy unit has selected its targets, you pick a Penitent unit from your army that was selected as the target, and they get a 4+ Feel No Pain. It is fantastic. So big fan of that. Yeah, this is going to be make some of your units super annoying to kill. You can regain the 4-up on the Arcoflagellants, or of course gain it on the Repentia. I love it. Next up, Passion of the Penitent, 1 CP battle tactic. This is in the fight phase. You pick a Penitent unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase, and until the end of the phase, each time they can attack, they get crits on 5s instead of 6s. So thinking about that combo we talked about earlier, you take the Catechism of Divine Penitence, put that on a Palatine, join a Repentia, pop Passion of the Penitent, and now suddenly you're getting full hit rerolls with lethal and sustained on 5s. Very, very spicy meatball. Amazing. And reroll to wound as well. Moving along, we've got Lash of Guilt, 1 CP battle tactic. In your movement phase before a Penitent unit from your army advances, you pick that Penitent unit, and it's very cool. They get to auto-advance 6 inches and advance and charge. It is amazing. Sorry, it's advance and charge and auto-advance 6 if they're Penitent engine. So this is a game-changing strat that you're going to try to use a lot, I think, honestly. I love it. Very aggressive. And just auto-advancing 6 is great for movement. So I'm into it. Boundless Zeal, 1 CP strategic ploy. In your movement phase after an Adepta Sororitas unit falls back, you pick that unit until the end of the turn. They're able to shoot or declare a charge in that turn in which they fell back. And if they're Penitent, they can also charge. So very good, very flexible. And what I like about this ability is it does one thing if you're not Penitent, and then does extra if you are Penitent. So it's kind of more broadly applicable. You can do this on your War Suits, you can do this on your Retributors. Nice, flexible stratagem. It's good for everyone. Last of all, Devout Fanaticism, 1 CP. In your opponent's shooting phase after an enemy unit has selected its targets, you pick a Penitent unit that was selected, and you roll a d6. They can move that many inches, and they have to go closer, and they can be moved into engagement range. This is nuts. You'll note that this is actually before they actually shoot. All they do is declare the targets, and then you move. You can mess people up with this strat. I'm shocked that they wrote it this way, but I'm kind of glad they did. I think it's awesome. So that's the Penitent host. Honestly, I think it's pretty darn strong. It's going to put a lot of pressure on people. It's going to be a lot of Flagellants. It's a lot of Repentia. I think you can still take engines for scoring. There's some broadly applicable things that will still be great for your traditional units. It's not really leaning to shooting, so if you're not about shooting, this is the detachment for you. I like it a lot. I think it's quite strong. Penitent Host. With that, let's take a look at the shooting detachment, the Bringers of Flame. The detachment rule here is Fervent Purgation. This is going to give your ranged weapons the assault ability, and if you're targeting a unit within 12 inches, you get +1 strength to your ranged attacks. So this is very much like the Firestorm detachment for Space Marines. We've seen it a couple times now with the Imperial armies. Assault was much better yesterday than it is today. Keep in mind, this does not let you advance and do actions in the Pariah Nexus mission pack. So, you know, kind of shot down in their prime there. But still, Assault is a great ability, still gives you lots of flexibility, lots of movement. +1 strength, situational but good. Bolters on 5s, Flamer's getting +1 strength, Melt's getting +1 strength. Those all are going to hit some really important inflection points against your targets. So let's take a look at the enhancements. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Let's start off with the first one, Righteous Rage. This is Adepta Sororitas model only. Each time the bear is selected to fight, you can discard up to 3 miracle dice, and for each one that you do, they get +1 attacks and +1 strength to the bear's melee weapons. Seems okay. Nothing as lone character like that, not usually the way to go, especially if you're not hitting something like AP or damage. But I could see it be used. Let's compare it to what else we have. We've got the Manual of Saint Griselda. This is, again, Sororitas model only. At the start of your command phase, you can discard up to 2 miracle dice. We're sensing a theme here. And then you can add 1. That is the sum of the 2 miracle dice up to 6. You can't get a 7. So I like this one. I think it's cool. You can start consolidating things, banking them up. You know, you're probably thinking about you don't necessarily want units that are just burning miracle dice in this case. So that's the thing, but I like it. Getting better value for the miracle dice that you do have. Fire and Fury, Adepta Sororitas models only. While the bear is leading unit, you get +1 attacks on torrent weapons, and all their other weapons have sustained hits. So really, if you look at this detachment, it's in theory, it's the triumvirate, right? The holy trinity of the bolter, the flamer, and the melta. Those are kind of the 3 weapons, and they're kind of trying to buff each other here. So I like it. I think it's cool. +1 attack on your torrent weapons, and then sustained on even things like meltas or combi weapons. Spicy. Last of all, Iron Surplus of Saint Istalela, Canoness or Palatine. The bear has a save of 2+ and a feel and pain of 5+. Okay. Look, it looks amazing on paper. I don't know how much I need a super tanky Canoness or Palatine. I'd probably rather have them be stompy and fighty. So, ironically, I'm not crazy about it. I think I'd take these 3 over this one, funny enough. But overall, solid enhancements supporting this detachment. It's a little confused, I think, because it's trying to do everything at once. But let's see what these stratagems have to offer. This is the Shield of Aversion, 1 CP battle stratagem. In your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase after an enemy unit has selected its targets. You pick a Sororitas unit from your army that was targeted 1 or more of the attacks, and you subtract 1 from their AP. Ye old Armor of Contempt. Amazing ability. It's a battle tactic, so this is going to make your canonnesses very happy. I love it. Righteous Blows, 1 CP battle tactic again. In the fight phase, you pick a Sororitas unit from your army that has not fought yet, and until the end of the phase, their melee weapons gain lethal hits. If 1 or more enemy models are destroyed as a result of these attacks, select one of those destroyed models, select the unit, and they must take a battle shock test. Situational, but definitely worth having around. Lethals, 1 CP, the battle shock is like cute, but you're not hoping for that. So, but it is a battle tactic, so you can make it free. Carry Forth the Faithful, 1 CP strategic ploy. In your movement phase before a transport model advances, you can reroll the advance for it, and the unit can get out even though the unit advance. Kind of makes it like an assault vehicle, and you can't charge. But this is great for delivering all these holy trinities that we're talking about, the flamers, the meltas, things like that want to get danger close. You can just shoot on up, hop on out. I like the strat a lot. I think it's going to really let you play at least what this detachment is trying to do. And remember, everything has assault. So even the vehicle itself, even though it's advancing, will still be able to shoot. We gotta get some emulators. Next up, Cleansing Flames. Oh, speaking of which, 1 CP battle tactic. In your shooting phase, you pick an Adepta Sororitas unit. This is going to give your torn weapons devastating wounds. Now that sounds amazing. Anytime we see devastating wounds, we all panic, right? But do the math on that. Like you need, if you're trying to do like 6 mortal wounds, which is like the gold standard for maxing out your mortal wounds, that means you need, it's only the wound rolls, so you're going to need 36 dice. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We're probably looking more like 2 to 3 mortal wounds. So, you know, temper yourself there. But it's cute. Rites of Battle, another battle tactic, 1 CP. In your shooting phase, you pick a Sororitas unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn, is not shot yet. If you're targeting a unit within 12 inches on an objective, +1 to wound, and then if you destroy one or more models, they have to take a battle shock test. Look, it's good. It's a few too many loops in my opinion. Get out of transport, also within 12, and they have to be on an objective. Then you get +1 to wound. Whereas the Corsairs, Renegades just got like full rerolls, hit and wound. You have to get out of transport and they have to be on an objective, but like that's 2/3 of the abilities for arguably a better ability. I don't really care about the battle shock, like we said. So I think it's good. I'm a little salty for you sisters players, but it's fine. You're still gonna take it. Blazing Ire, 1 CP battle tactic. The thing is, a lot of these battle tactics are related around like transports. You know, you can't battle tactic a transport, and this one I think is also transport. It's the same thing, you know. 1 CP, your opponent's shooting phase after an enemy unit has shot. Oh yeah, this one's funny. So after they shoot at your transport, you can get out and you can target the unit that shot them. You're like, get off our line! It's like the Firestorm detachment. So it's cool, it's cute, I like it. This detachment is weird, and I'm really torn on it. When I saw this ability, I say, oh yeah, this is for me. I love Firestorm, I love utility-based detachments, what these usually are. We lost some value on Assault because of the new mission pack, and it's a little divided. It's very heavy on shooting. I think there's certainly play around it. I think there's some amazing strats. I'm just nervous about the units that benefit from them being like good enough. Like I'm already kind of skeptical of Retributors. I'm not crazy about them this edition, and it feels like they're really the units that want to benefit. Like what's a unit that has lots of shooting? Battle Sisters have some special weapons, a lot of bolters, but it feels like it's really Retributors inside of Immolators. So I don't know, I'm pretty uncertain about this one, to be honest. Let me know, of course, in the comments below what you want to build for this detachment, and should we get Immolators? Inquiring minds want to know. Last of all, I think this is the 4th one. Yep, the Army of Faith. Normally, people refer to this as the jump pack detachment. It's kind of how it was built, but it's not really. It's much more expandable than that, which I appreciate. The detachment rule is Sacred Rites. Each time an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army performs Act of Faith, they can do up to 2 acts of faith per phase instead of 1, which is cool. That's very interesting. We've got lots of miracle dice. We're not burning them necessarily in this detachment as fast. Okay, it's an okay ability. Let's see what else we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4 enhancements. Litanies of Faith. Canonist or Palatine model only. At the start of your command phase, if the bear's on the battlefield, you take a leadership test for the bear, and if they pass, you get 1 miracle dice. I like it a lot. My only thing is I wish this could be on a support character that's hanging back, rather than a frontline character like a Canonist or a Palatine. That's my only gripe. That's my only thing. But still, it's good. Miracle dice are powerful. They're useful. You can burn them a lot faster here. The Blade of St. Eleanor has been moved over here, and it's interesting now. So improve the strength and AP by 1, and they gain precision. And each time the bear fights, if 1 or more enemy models were destroyed by those attacks, you gain a miracle dice. So it's still very compelling. I think it's a very cool iteration of it, and I think it's very cute on like a jump canonist or something, you know? Divine Aspect, Adepta Sororitas model only. In your movement phase, you select an enemy unit within 12. They have to take a battle shock test, and if they fail, you get a miracle dice. That's a lot of hoops to get a miracle dice. If it's very cheap, I'll take it. The Triptych of the Macarian Crusade. I'll say that 5 times fast. Adepta Sororitas model only. Each time the bear uses an act of faith to substitute a saving throw, that saving throw is successful, irrespective of the value of the miracle dice used. Very cute. Again, are we trying to say a canonist? Like, what generic character are we putting on that just has to live? So again, if it's cheap, sure. So what do we have here? I think we have 2 fantastic enhancements and then 2 kind of optional ones, in my opinion. But if they're cheap enough, we'll probably take them. I would probably take these 3 and then take this one last of all. Moving on to the stratagems, we've got the Shield of Faith, 1 CP battle tactic. This is done in any phase after an Adepta Sororitas unit from your army suffers a mortal wound. Kind of gives you a sense of what's happening. That unit or a friendly jump pack unit within 3, they gain a 5+ feel no pain, and if you targeted a jump pack unit, then as long as they're within 3 inches of each other, they also get a 5 up feel no pain. So this is a trend that we're going to see in a few of these stratagems here, where you can do a strat, you can also do it on a jump pack unit nearby, so you kind of get double benefit from them, which is an interesting idea because they're kind of generalizable, but they kind of get better with the jump pack units. I'm very torn about it. We just have to roll dice and see how it plays out on the table. So that'll be interesting. We are, of course, going to do that today on launch day with our live game, so tune in for that. Next up, 1 CP Light of the Emperor, the battle tactic, and you do it in your command phase. You pick a Sororitas unit from your army. Until the end of the turn, they can ignore modifiers to their weapon skill or ballistic skill, and actually any other tests other than saving throws. So you're still affected by AP or whatever. Death card. If your unit has the jump pack keyword, of course, while a friendly enemy Sororitas unit is within 3, that friendly unit is also blessed. So if you do this on the jetpack unit, it kind of emanates and they're like, ah! I wish once it procced, it stayed for the turn, because the problem is now they pop the strat, they kill the jump pack unit, then they proc it on the unit, they kill the jump pack unit, and then the aura just goes away. I wish it like exploded and like landed on everyone. Now it doesn't matter who you kill. That would have been, I think, a cooler way to do it. Faith and Fury, 1 CP battle tactic, stratagem. In the fight phase, you pick a sisters unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. Until the end of the phase, you give their melee weapons Lance, and if you kill 1 or more models, you get a miracle dice. I love it. Amazing stratagem. Use this as much as you can. Battle tactic, so it makes canonesses very spicy indeed. And again, jump canoness on this. Oh, I love it. Amazing. Next up, we've got Blinding Radiance. It's a 1 CP strategic ploy. In your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase, after an enemy unit has selected its targets, you're going to pick a Sororitas unit or, of course, a friendly jump pack unit. And you can kind of do double trouble with that. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, -1 to hit. And if you targeted a jump pack unit, then it also affects other Sororitas within 3. So, look, it's better than the GSC one that we saw, which was way more conditional. So it's basically lightning fast reflexes, and if you pick a jump pack unit, it's going to emanate outwards. Yeah. Sororitas unit or 1 friendly Sororitas jump pack within 3. So I think the interesting thing you could do here, which is weird and kind of counterintuitive, you could have your unit, regular unit, you could have the jump packs behind the wall within 3. They get shot here or fought here. You pick this, you're targeting this unit, and now it emanates here. And so your unit is pretty darn safe, and you're going to get the benefits probably for the rest of the phase. Feels weird to try to hide your melee, well, your jumping units behind walls, but that's kind of what it wants you to do. Strange. Anyways, Divine Guidance, 1 CP battle tactic. Again, in your shooting or the fight phase, you pick a sisters unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, improve the AP by 1. Amazing. And if you destroy 1 or more enemy models, you gain a miracle dice. Another incredible stratagem. You'll notice, frankly, 2 of the best stratagems that we've seen thus far are completely generalizable, have nothing to do with jump packs. So don't listen to what people are saying about jump pack units. You don't need them. This is just generally 2 very strong battle tactics. I love it. Last of all, Angelic Descent. Now this is a jump pack one, I will admit. It's 1 CP strategic ploy. At the end of your opponent's fight phase, you pick a jump pack unit and you can put them in reserve, which means you can also put them into deep strike. You can't do it if they're engagement range. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Get extra value out of those Seraphim, out of those Zephyrim. And don't forget, Saint Celestine does have the jump pack keyword, which is Loverly. So it's a weird detachment. It, again, is going in lots of directions. but I think I really like the overall package, actually. It's quite generalizable. It's a little bit better for melee, I would say, because of the lance and the +1 AP. Oh, that works on shooting phase as well. I don't know. I really like this detachment. I think this and the Penitent are probably my two favorite, both fun and strength-wise. I think the Bringers of Flame can be strong, but it's a little bit weird to use. And then, of course, Hallowed Martyrs, still a solid pick, honestly, if a little bit boring, because it's kind of what we've already had. So that's the general gist of it. And that, folks, is the Sea Stirs book. Overall, kind of like the Juicy book. It's not Custodes, but it's probably not quite Orcs. I think there's a lot of fun stuff to play with in here. I think there's a lot of powerful stuff in here. So regardless of how you're trying to play Warhammer, there's going to be things in here for you. And in the same spirit, because I did this for the GSC folks, I'm gonna flip through Crusade, and you can kind of see what the pages are. We're not gonna stop and talk about it, but let us know, of course, if you want to see a video on that. We're always interested in what people want to talk about on the channel. So I like the book. I'm very curious to see what Brian can do with it. We, of course, have a pre-recorded battle report with the Penitent host. We also have a live report coming out today on launch, which is going to be covering that Army of Faith we just looked at. And, of course, if you're a member, we're going to be playing them twice this following week, and you can vote on the style that we play. If there's a certain detachment you want us to lean into, it's going to be very, very interesting. So, yeah, cool book. I'm excited to dig into it. Let me know, of course, in the comments below what else you want to see. If you have any questions, let us know what you're excited about in this codex. It's a brand new era for Warhammer, new GSC, new sisters, and new mission packs. That's going to really, really make for interesting and new games. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch y'all next time on the tabletop. Bye.